What's up, Barbarians? The patch notes have finally arrived, and they look promising. First thing that caught my attention is the Shattered Vow got a rework. Instead of 400% to damaging healthy enemies, you get 44% damage over time duration. Okay, this is good. So first off, this will be good for Rend. Will this be good for Flay? It's hard to say if this will be good for Flay because the Flay temper can go higher than 44%. Will 2 Flay tempers be better than 1 Flay temper and the Shattered Vow? That's one thing I gotta test. I am now looking forward to testing out the Shattered Vow once again. Bold Chieftain's legendary aspect got a buff. Cooldown reduction from 50 to 70%. That's a massive change. I've noticed Bold Chieftains is kind of bugged and it's not working very well. If this works, this is great. If it's still bugged, then it's useless. On to the Barbarian skills. So first we have Ground Stomp. Ground Stomp now deals more damage. Amazing. And they did buff Strategic Ground Stomp. They've changed the cooldown from 4 to 5 and the max to 15 seconds over 12. And we knew Hammer of the Ancients was going to get a buff. Didn't get anything else. Just a straight buff. We'll have to see how that plays. Next is Upheaval. This is quite the change. I really like this. So the increase, you got a 20% increase, 5% lucky hit chance increase, and you got a stun increase. Chance to stun is 45%. Roughly every second hit, you're going to be stunning enemies. Huge. And now the only way to play Upheaval is going to be Furious Upheaval with the Bash temper. So I am going to remake Upheaval, and I'm going to use the Bash temper for it because this is just too much damage to pass up. The bonus stacks now go up to 10, and each stack gives 20% damage. That is way better than Mono Upheaval getting berserking 24/7. Furious Upheaval is going to be the only way to go. Looking forward to changing that. Next is Double Swing. This gets a 10% increase. Not too much for Double Swing. My favorite skill got a buff. The initial damage is now from 12 to 25. That's great. And then the bleed damage is increased to 120%. This is good. This with the Shattered Vow increase, this could be really, really good. Leap and Kick got some buffs. Not a big fan of Leap or Kick. Iron Skin got a buff all around. So the cooldown is reduced, and Enhanced Iron Skin, now you get unhindered for 5 seconds. Your barrier absorbs 30% more max life instead of 25. The unhindered part doesn't really matter because we use the Iron Warrior aspect, so this doesn't really change much for us. And Tactical Iron Skin is still, it's just getting better now. You're getting 20% instead of 10 for increased life. And Strategic gives us more Fortify. Overall, Iron Skin is still a great skill. Death Blow got a buff. Increased damage by 20%. And Enhanced, now we deal more damage to bosses. 200% damage to bosses. I tried Death Blow before. I didn't have all the pieces that I wanted. Now that I do, I need to try Death Blow again. I want to see how significant this change is. Rupture gets a damage increase. And Enhanced Rupture, your damage bonus to 50 strength increases from 20 to 35%. That's crazy. So they're buff and bleed hard. That is really good. That's a massive increase. Steel Grasp got a mild buff. I only use this to group up enemies. I don't really use it to cause damage. Can't really see this doing anything in the build, but I'll take it. Mighty Throw apparently got a buff because the tempering aspect that gives a chance to deal double damage had a bug in it. So because of that, Mighty Throw is temporarily buffed. Okay, for some passives, Heavy Handed got a buff. So now we're going to deal more critical strike damage. I think this used to be 6, 12, 18, and they actually nerfed it to 5, 10, 15, if I remember correctly. Pit Fighter got a damage reduction buff. That's good. Instead of damage reduction to just distant enemies, now we get it for all enemies. Amazing. No Mercy also got an amazing buff. Now you just get straight up critical strike chance instead of having a condition. This is so good. I think this is very much needed. We only have 2 legendary aspects that got changed. One we've already saw, which was the Battle Mad, which I think was a great increase. And now Sundered Ground, so Upheaval is getting another buff with its overpower damage. On to unique items. Twin Strikes. Damage increase from 30 to 60 to 50 to 80. Okay, so the 10% increase with the Twin Strikes might be good. This is something that I'll have to try again, so I will definitely make Double Swing again. The Tusk Helm got an increase as well, but that gets outshined by the Ugly Bastard Helm. I don't know if this is enough to actually use this helmet. The Whirlwind Gores got a buff. I still can't see many people using this in the Whirlwind build now. I don't think that's going to change. The Red Ring got a buff. Critical strike damage now increased to 50 to 80%. They buff Death Blow, Upheaval, and Hammer of the Ancient skill. Then they buff Heavy Handed, and now they buff the Red Ring. Oh, that's like a triple buff for that. 100,000 steps now. The ground slump occurs every 5 seconds instead of 10. I think that's really good and necessary, but I still can't see people using 100,000 steps. Fields of Crimson finally gets the buff that it needs. Okay, finally has a 50% multiplier on it. This might be good for some builds now. I'm definitely going to try out the Fields of Crimson and see if it's worth putting in any builds. The Deathblow Mace also got another buff. The Shockwave increases to 60 to 80. Paragon, the Blood Rage is now on par with the Hemorrhage node. They can both go up to 45%. This is a good start. I really hope they bump both Hemorrhage and Blood Rage to 50, but one can hope. And the Decimator board also got a buff. Instead of being 10%, now it goes up to 20. Amazing. Not a lot of patch notes, but a lot of decent changes. Those two Paragon nodes are amazing. The uniques they've changed, like the Fields of Crimson, the Overkill, the Red Ring, like there's a lot of good changes here. The aspects there were a little lacking, but that's okay. Overall, like the change to No Mercy, there's a lot of positive changes here and a lot of good buffs. I'm very excited to try some of these, and the patch drops on Tuesday. I'm gonna remake Upheaval. I'm gonna try Rend again. I'm gonna see if I can make some sort of build with the Fields of Crimson. I want to try Double Swing. I think this is good to retest some Barb things and see how it works. All right, guys, can't wait till Tuesday. Try some things out. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.